George Lucas made it no secret that one of Star Wars' many inspirations was Akira Kurosawa's film The Hidden Fortress, with the main characters of the film having direct parallels in Star Wars. In fact, the original plotline of the film was actually too similar to The Hidden Fortress. The Jedi were also heavily inspired by samurai. In fact, frequent Kurosawa collaborator and star of The Hidden Fortress, Toshiro Mifune, was originally considered to play Obi-Wan. Now, wouldn't that have been interesting to see? 2015 saw The Force Awakens come out after so much hype and anticipation. I watched it in the cinema a day after it came out, and I even went back a few weeks later to watch it in 3D. To this day, it is actually the only film I have seen twice in the cinema. Watching it, I thought, man, Lucas took inspiration from Kurosawa, but here, JJ has taken it from another legendary Japanese filmmaker, Yasujirō Ozu. Hear me out. One of Ozu's earliest films from 1932 is I Was Born, But, a silent film about two brothers who are dealing with a local school bully, how they navigate this, and even sort of become friends with them at the end. Nearly 30 years later, he decided to do a loose remake of this film in colour and with sound. This became Good Morning. While the storyline of it is different, two brothers give all adults in the neighborhood the silent treatment until their mum buys them a TV. They have similar themes. They are about two brothers and the difficulty of trying to get on with other kids. Plus, they both show the kids being, well, kids, playing, picking on each other and laughing at fart jokes. Ozu did consider Good Morning a remake of I Was Born, but just for the next generation. His films follow this mindset in which the next generation's problems are pretty much exactly the same as the previous generations, just with slight differences. Life repeats itself, over and over again. My favourite film of his, Late Spring, is about the reluctance of Nariko to get married and leave her father. She prefers to stay with him and look after him. Ozu continued a version of this story in his 1960 film Late Autumn. We now have Aiko, played by Setsuko Hara, who played Nariko in Late Spring, also trying to marry off her daughter, who is also reluctant to be married off and just wants to take care of her mum. I see Late Autumn as a spiritual sequel to Late Spring, with the next generation repeating the cycle of the previous generation. Nothing has changed. The last film Ozu made was An Autumn Afternoon, also has a variation of this plotline in which the elderly father of the Hirayama family arranges and pressures his two daughters to get married before it's too late, much to their reluctance. It was a common criticism of Ozu that he made the same film over and over again. I do disagree because I see what he is saying. Plus, his films are different enough to not be complete repeats. His 1951 film, Early Summer, for example, is also about a single late-20s woman called Nariko, played also by Setsuko Hara, who is pressured by her uncle to get married. She lives with her extended family. So already, while the issue is the same as Late Spring, there are enough differences for it not to be a complete repeat of Late Spring. These issues continue with the next generation, and as the seasons repeat themselves, just look at the title of his films, so does human life. This brings me to The Force Awakens. It was very noticeable, even when watching it in the cinema, how The Force Awakens borrows a lot of its story beats from A New Hope. First, our protagonist on a desert planet, who meets a droid with important information that needs to be delivered to the rebellion. They have an old mentor character who gets killed off. There is a planet-destroying weapon that they all need to work together to destroy. Even Han mentions how they have done it before.
How do we blow it up? There's always a way to do that.
Like Ozu's films, The Force Awakens is showing how life repeats itself. Even though in Return of the Jedi the Empire was seemingly defeated, from that defeat the First Order rose up, and now the next generation, Rey, Finn, and Poe, need to deal with it, as the previous generation did. I know it was a very common criticism of The Force Awakens, how it was a repeat of A New Hope, much like how Ozu faced that criticism. But I did not see it that way. While watching it, I did notice how similar it was, but probably because I was watching lots of Ozu films at the time, I thought, oh, I see what JJ is doing here. Probably unintentionally though. If A New Hope is late spring, then I would say The Force Awakens is a combination of late autumn and early summer. It has similar plot beats, but like early summer, it is still different enough to not be a direct remake. For starters, the character dynamics between our leads are different. While Luke was just thrown on this journey due to getting R2-D2 from some Jawas, Rey was thrown on this journey by meeting BB-8 after saving him, and then further thrown into it after meeting Finn. She didn't even understand what BB-8 was carrying until she met Han Solo, while Luke accidentally activated R2's message. Luke also never has a lightsaber fight in A New Hope, but Rey does with Kylo Ren, who is the son of Han Solo. Like Ozu, JJ also makes the film a family affair. So you see, things are different. This generation's battle is still the same though. The cycle of life and its problems have repeated themselves, much like in late spring and late autumn. Ozu was also known for his preference of having important plot details happen off screen, because Ozu was more interested in seeing the aftermath than the event itself. In late spring, we never see Nariko meeting her potential husband. In an autumn afternoon, a wedding is mentioned. Then in the next scene, it's already happened. We never see it. The Force Awakens uses this technique as well. The First Order we know rose to power. We don't know how they did, they just have. Furthermore, when Maz Kanata gives Finn Anakin's lightsaber to give to Rey, Han asks,
"Where'd you get that?"
And she says,
"A good question. For another time."
We never hear the story. We never know how Maz Kanata acquired the saber. Apparently it was explained in a novel or something, but we are just talking about the film here. So you see, JJ uses these important plot points happening off screen, much like Ozu. The Force Awakens, I would say, is the best of the sequel films. The Last Jedi is a mixed bag, see my video on it, and The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
So I do disagree with people saying that The Force Awakens is pretty much a remake of A New Hope. It's not. Still very different. It has similar plot beats. But look at it through an Ozu lens. As the seasons repeat, so does life. And here we have the next generation still dealing with those same problems.